Kingdom Protista. Members of Kingdom Protista are the simplest forms of eukaryotic organisms. Being eukaryotes, Protista have a true nucleus and membrane-bounded organelles. They are diverse in cell organization, either unicellular, colonial unicellular, simple filamentous multicellular algae, or in the form of huge seaweeds or kelps. Protista nutritional modes are also diverse. They can be photoautotrophic or photosynthetic, such as algae, or heterotrophic, like most of protozoa, or both autotrophic and heterotrophic, like Euglena. Euglena nutritional mode is also called mixotrophic. Protista undergo asexual reproduction mostly by binary fission. Some of them might also reproduce sexually or both. Protista live in water-based environment, either large water bodies such as oceans or lakes, moist habitats, or even in other organisms' body fluid. Kingdom Protista comprises of numerous phyla, but we are going to focus on some phyla under two subkingdoms, algae and protozoa. Two phyla of algae that we are going to discuss are phylum Chlorophyta and phylum Phaeophyta. For protozoa, we are going to focus on four phyla, that is phylum Euglenophyta, phylum Rhizopoda, phylum Coeliophora, and phylum Epicomplexa. Algae are considered to be plant-like protists because they have chloroplast and cell wall, much like the plant cells. Habitats of algae include the oceans, seas, freshwater bodies such as lakes, rivers, and simply at any moist areas with low light intensity. Algae can be classified based on the dominant pigments they use for photosynthesis. Algae that use pigments chlorophyll A and B belongs to phylum Chlorophyta, the green algae, while those that use the fucoxanthin, which is a type of xanthophyll, are grouped into phylum Phaeophyta, the brown algae. Phylum Chlorophyta is characterized by the presence of chlorophyll A and B as the major photosynthetic pigment that gives them the green appearance, hence the name green algae. One example of Chlorophyta is a unicellular flagellated Chlamydomonas. Phylum Phaeophyta has xanthophyll as a dominant photosynthetic pigment. One example of xanthophyll is fucoxanthin, which is found in Fucus species. Apart from that, carbohydrate storage of Chlorophyta is in the form of starch, while in Phaeophyta it is laminarin, mannitol, or fucoidan. Unicellular eukaryotic protozoa are generally animal-like protists. The name protozoa means primitive, original, or early animals. Like animals, their nutritional mode is heterotrophic or holozoic. They basically ingest food, which is aided by the formation of food vacuoles. Protozoa live in diverse habitats. Like algae, they mostly live in water bodies such as oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds, damp soils, mostly as zooplanktons, but they also live in other organisms' body fluid in the case of parasitic protozoa. Protozoa reproduce asexually by binary fission, but sexual reproduction also occurs in certain species. Protozoa can be classified by their locomotory structures such as flagella, pseudopodia, or cilia. Protozoa that move using flagellum are grouped into phylum Euglenophyta. Protozoa that use pseudopodia for locomotion are grouped into phylum Rhizopoda. Protozoa that use cilia to move around are classified under phylum Celiophora. There are also protozoa that do not have any locomotory structures. They are grouped as phylum Epicomplexa. A prominent genus from phylum Euglenophyta is Euglena species. There is a flagellum on anterior end of the cell, but there is no cell wall. This phylum is unique because unlike other protozoa, the cell contains chloroplasts, so Euglena species can undergo photosynthesis. When there is no light, Euglena species switches to being heterotrophic by consuming organic matter via phagocytosis. This ability to be photosynthetic and heterotrophic is called mixotrophic. Phylum Rhizopoda, where amoeba species belongs to, move about and feed using pseudopodia. Amoeba species displays holozoic nutritional mode. The pseudopodia aid them consuming food by phagocytosis. Paramecium species is an example of phylum Celiophora. Their locomotion is made possible by cilia that is present on their cell surface. They swim around when the cilia beat in certain rhythm to propel them forward. Being holozoic, Paramecium species literally ingests food via its oral groove structure before enclosing it into a food vacuole. Unlike other protozoa, which have one nucleus, Paramecium species has two nuclei, macronucleus and micronucleus. Phylum Epicomplexa are characterized by their apical complex at the anterior end of their cells. Most of them are parasitic, such as the malarial parasite Plasmodium species. They do not have any locomotory structures, no pseudopodia, no flagella, no cilia. They inhabit the host body for movement. They glide when in contact with substratum or surface.